Today, in honor of the feast of St Andre Bessette, the miracle man of Montreal, I would like to do a review of a wonderful book on his life. St Andre Bessette is one of my very favorite saints, possibly my favorite, and I'm honored to talk about this excellent book. As you can see, the book is titled Brother Andre, and it was written by Jean-Guy Dubuc. It was first published in 1999. Prior to him being canonized in 2010. He was born with the name Alfred on August 9, 1845, in the province of Quebec, Canada. At birth, he was so frail that they had to do an emergency baptism right away. His frail health would be a constant theme throughout his life, but it also taught him to trust God and St. Joseph. He was always sickly, and both of his parents died by the time he was 12 years old. But he was devout and pious in his faith, so his parish priest presented him to the Congregation of the Holy Cross with the endorsement of, "I'm sending you a saint." Despite this strong referral, he was rejected because of his frail health. Eventually, the Archbishop of Montreal intervened, and in 1872, he was accepted into the novitiate of the Congregation of the Holy Cross with the name Brother Andre. One of his duties there was as a barber, which he charged 5 cents per haircut. The other was as a porter at Notre Dame College in Quebec. This meant that he would greet everyone who came to their door. Using his famous wit, Brother Andre was quoted as saying, "When I joined this community, my superiors showed me the door, and I remained there for 40 years. In this role as a porter, he became increasingly popular because of the solid religious advice that he would give to those that came with a problem. In addition, numerous miraculous healings started to occur when he prayed for the intercession of St. Joseph for them and encouraged them to also pray for St. Joseph's intercession. This led to Brother Andre being asked to visit sick and handicapped people in their homes. Praying to St. Joseph for them and rubbing some oil from a lamp in the oratory, which he called St. Joseph's oil, on them, more miraculous cures started to occur. But Brother Andre was always quick to respond that it was the intercessory prayers to St. Joseph that caused these miracles, not himself. Ever since he was a child, he talked about St. Joseph so much that he was known as St. Joseph's Fool. Brother Andre wanted to build a chapel for St. Joseph in the woods on the campus. First, he put a statue of St. Joseph in the hollow of a tree, and he would pray there. He would also tell St. Joseph that he wanted his help to build the chapel. Next, he started scattering medals of St. Joseph all around the area where he wanted the chapel to be built. He then proposed the idea of his chapel to his superiors, but they rejected the idea. He accepted their rejection, but continued to pray about his idea. In 1902, Brother Andre became ill and was sent to the infirmary. In the bed next to him was the college superior. They struck up a friendship, and Brother Andre pleaded his case to him for the chapel to be built on campus in the woods. The superior agreed to allow him to build the chapel where he wanted, but it said he would not receive a penny, and he told him to go tell St. Joseph the construction would begin as soon as he found the money for him. Brother Andre had been saving the money that he made from cutting hair, and he had $200. Which was not enough to build a chapel, but miraculous things started to occur which jump-started the project. One of them was when Brother Andre was called to the home of a very sick man who had a tumor in his stomach. He was Mr. Richard, who was a mason by trade. Brother Andre greeted him and said that he was not sick and told his wife to give him a good bowl of soup. Mr. Richard protested, saying that I can't swallow a thing. Brother Andre took him by the hand to the dinner table and then asked him, "Should St. Joseph heal you, would you come and help me build a chapel on the mountainside?" "Of course I would," replied Mr. Richard. Brother Andre then said, "Well, I will see you there in the morning." The next morning, Mr. Richard went to eat breakfast with Brother Andre and worked on the chapel all day and for several more months. He even recruited some of his friends to help. Many other miracles started to occur, and private donations started to come in. This slide shows the amazing progress from what started as a little chapel to a very significant church, the famous oratory of St. Joseph. This shows what miracles can happen when you have faith. In 1967, this dome was completed and St. Joseph's Oratory is fully constructed. Look at how beautiful this is, but also remember the College Superior said to go tell St. Joseph the construction would begin as soon as he found the money. Indeed, he did. I would like to share one more story from this book. One of Brother Andre's fiercest public critics was Dr. Charette. He called Brother Andre an old greaser because of his use of St. Joseph's oil, and he also called him a charlatan who took advantage of poor gullible people and said that he even put their health at risk. One day, Dr. Charette's wife suffered a nasal hemorrhage, and nothing would stop it. Dr. Charette tried every remedy and even brought in other doctors. Nothing would stop it, and the situation became critical. Mrs. Charette asked her husband to bring in Brother Andre. At first, he refused. He had often publicly made fun of Brother Andre, so it would be terribly humiliating for him now to ask for his help. But his wife insisted, and out of love for her, the doctor requested a visit from Brother Andre. On their way to his home, Brother Andre told the doctor that his wife would not die. When Brother Andre walked into Mrs. Charette's room, the bleeding immediately stopped and did not start back up. Never again did Dr. Charette mock the old greaser. He had witnessed a miracle. Now, because of these and many other wonderful stories that are told in this easy-to-read book, I give this excellent book 5 beards out of 5 beards. I now close by showing some of the words of Brother Andre from this book, and I hope that they inspire you. Live Jesus in our hearts forever.